Hello, my name is Lisa Doherty, and this is my presentation on differentiated instruction. First, what is differentiated instruction? Differentiated instruction is basing your instruction on the individual needs and various learning differences of all the students in your classroom. You want to focus on the ELL learners, the special education learners, the general education learners, and then you want to maximize the learning of all the students within the classroom, and then implementing different strategies in the classroom that can help each and every one of them. How do teachers differentiate instruction? Teachers differentiate instruction by designing lessons and activities that address the needs of all the students within the classroom. The teachers need to know their students in terms of their readiness, which is their background knowledge of a certain subject. For example, some students have lots of background knowledge and know a lot about science, and then they may struggle in math. And then some other students may have a lot of background knowledge in history, but may struggle in reading. So you need to find what they are interested in as well, and finding out what subjects they are curious about, such as some kids love to learn about dinosaurs. And so then you could pull in a lesson about dinosaurs that would help pique their interest in a certain subject like science, and then it would also help the other students within the classroom learn more about dinosaurs. And then you also need to take into account their learning profile. And this is how the student prefers to learn. Do they learn better by being a visual learner? Are they a hands-on kind of student? Or are they a student that benefits from just having lectures? And then you also need to take into account of what kind of environment they learn best in. Do they learn best in a quiet, dimmed environment? Do they learn best within a group setting? Or do they need to have lots of noise and activity going on in order to learn? And this is going to be different for each and every student. How do teachers prepare their students and their classrooms for differentiated instruction? Teachers can prepare their students and classrooms for differentiated instruction by communicating to the students and parents what exactly differentiated instruction is and how it will look within their classroom. The best way to do that for students is at the beginning of the school year, and then they can have different activities on how to address how important differentiated instruction is and how that is going to benefit each and every one of them. Also, it's important to have a well-organized classroom, so that way that you can have structure within your classroom, and you can also get them used to having group stations as well. And then also that helps them work within the group so that the teacher doesn't have to be standing right over them and supervising them every single moment of the school day. What does differentiated instruction look like in the classroom? It's going to look differently for each classroom. No teacher is going to do this exactly the same. What works best for one teacher is not going to work best for the next teacher. And usually the best way to kind of get this kind of instruction is to just work on one certain subject area like math and get differentiated instruction working within that subject area. And then they can branch out into another subject area like science and then find something that works best within that subject area. It's also a good way to do like group settings, and then you would get your classroom and introduced to like working in a group, and then from there you can keep adding new details about differentiated instruction throughout the school year that will help your students. Why is delivering instruction primarily by lecturing not a good example of differentiated practice? Well, basically it's because it's a teacher-centered kind of instruction approach. If the teacher's standing in front of the whole classroom, it's just going to benefit the students that like to learn by lectures. It's not going to address the students that have visual ways of learning. It's not going to address the people and students that have the ways of learning hands-on. It doesn't take into account the different learning styles of each student, and it doesn't address their skills and needs that they need within the classroom in order to learn the best. Why is grouping students at the beginning of the year not a good example of differentiated practice. Well, if you base their grouping on the previous year, it doesn't take into account what they learned within the school year. For example, in October, they have taken different kinds of assessments. That doesn't tell what they learned in May of last year because they may have made growth in certain areas. So really it's more important to do pre-assessments so that way the teachers can see where the students have gained and kind of guide their instruction on what they need to do to make that student be more successful in the classroom. Why is giving bonus points for classroom participation not an example of differentiation practice? Well, if you give bonus points, it's basically just like extra credit. It's not taking into account of what they learned or didn't learn. It doesn't tell you if they mastered that concept. It doesn't really give you a good measure of growth within that subject area. It doesn't tell you what they learned within math if you're just giving them 5 extra points for showing up. It doesn't give them doesn't give them a good background knowledge of what they've learned if you're just giving them points instead of assessing them on what they need to learn. And finally, I wanted to end with my favorite quote about differentiation by Carol Ann Tomlinson. Differentiation is simply a teacher attending to the learning needs of a particular student or small groups of students rather than teaching a class as though all individuals in it were basically alike. This is so important in special education because basically we come down to individualization and what works best for each and every student. If you have it where you group students by their needs, you're not going to meet the needs of all the students within the classroom. For example, if you teach just by lectures, you're not going to address the kids that learn visually, such as myself, and you're not going to address the needs of the students that need to have hands-on instruction like myself as well. So if I had a teacher that was up there just presenting each and every day, I would get lost in the instruction, and I don't believe I would master the concept I would if I had some hands-on and visual aspects of the instruction. So basically, it's all about how you can make each and every student successful in the classroom, and the great way to do this is differentiated instruction because it's geared towards the individual needs and skills of every student. And if you do it the correct way, each student is going to be prepared for the future and they're going to be successful because they're going to learn more through these kinds of instruction rather than just having a teacher get up in front of the classroom and present subject material after subject material. Thank you for your time and have a great day.